Today I'm standing outside our Great Park Synagogue, not for the picture behind me, but for real, as we're delighted to have opened up our Shul and we're beginning to have services every morning. And we will have a service tonight in Shabbat. And if you are going out anyway, and you're going out to gym or to the shops or to do the things in public, then just know that Shul is probably safer than most places because of all the precautions we're taking. If you need to stay home, please stay home and be safe. This Shabbat, we once again speak about the theme of gratitude. And we are told that when you come to the promised land, then you will bring the first fruits of your labor to Yerushalayim, to Jerusalem, and you will present them to the Kohen as a gift. And we learn once again this important theme of gratitude, but not only that we have to be grateful, but how to be grateful. You know that we often say that our feeling of entitlement is in inverse proportion to our feelings of gratitude. The more we feel entitled, the less we feel grateful. And the more we feel grateful, the less we feel entitled, and we actually feel that we want to say thank you to Hashem. And today we might not be farmers, we're not dealing with fruit, but we're talking about whatever we produce from the labor of our life. It might be at work, it might be at the bank, it might be at the office, it might be however we are producing the wealth of our life. We need to know that the very first, has to be given to Hashem. The Rambam Maimonides tells us that the best of everything should be dedicated to the spiritual dimension of our life. Not just an afterthought, not just after we've taken care of all of our needs, but the very first thing we do is we give of ourselves to Hashem. We start the day by davening, by praying. And when we build a home, we should build a home, but the home for Hashem should even be more beautiful than our own home. Whenever we do something that is of benefit to ourselves, we should realize that at the same level and more, we should do for the poor and for others who are in need. It should come from the best of what we have. In addition to that, the storyline of the farmer as he presented it, the first fruits to the Kohen, was he went through a whole story of history, going back even to the story of Egypt, and that we once were in Egypt, and now eventually we've come to the point where I have my first fruit. That is seeing ourselves in the context of something much bigger and broader than our own contribution and our own being. We come from somewhere, we are the link in a chain, and we stand on the shoulders of the giants who preceded us. And even as once was said to me, a Jew who seemed to not be involved at all in Judaism and felt disconnected and dislocated from Judaism, and I mentioned that he too had given so much to South Africa, and somebody said to me, didn't really give as a Jew because he didn't consider himself a Jew. And I said that every single one of us is the product of a history. And even a person who, God forbid, walks out of his parents' home and slams the door and says, I'm not connected in any way to the past, we know that's not true, because we still carry the DNA of our parents and we still feel connected. Whether we feel connected or not, we still are so connected to the history that preceded us and that brought about the successes of our lives. We should not overlook it. There's a kinetic energy of generations that precede us. And even a Jew who thought that he was not involved in Judaism is still the product of generations that precede us. So the second element of gratitude, besides presenting it to the Kohen with the first of our fruits and the best of our labor, is to always realize that we are in a context of a much bigger picture, and we need to be grateful in the context of having been the end result of so many generations that precede us, that labored to bring about our success today. And I want to end off by saying that it is in these days before Rosh Hashanah that we have launched a campaign, an appeal for our Shul. Please click on the link that brings you to your opportunity to pledge and to give to our Shul. It's a time and a season in which we have to realize that we have to service our own lives, but even in difficult challenges, we have to realize how central our spiritual home is to our life. So please participate in the appeal in whichever way you can, because that is one of the ways that we can express gratitude to Hashem for the bounty of our lives, for all the good that, please God, will be exceeding and much more in the year to come. Have a great and beautiful Shabbos.